We have an unboxing video, and this one is a borrow. Oh, it's not even taped out. What the heck? Anyways, I have loaned out my temp trade, my Seraph, to my friend Jet Set RD. And in return, I am borrowing a knife that I've been really excited to try for a while. Oh my god, it's purple. The Invictus by Heibel. This is Heibel's current production knife, and I'm sure you've heard about it through Will Hirsch, because he says that it's like his favorite knife right now, which is like wowzers. There's a little bit of schmutz on this. So the Heibel Invictus I've heard it's like handle bias. Let me just clear that. RWL34, is that the blade steel type? Number 67. It's this beautiful purple, number 67. The weight of this knife is 4.44, so a little bit in the middle. How sharp is this too? Sharp enough that I might hurt myself. While it is a little handle bias, it fans rather nicely. It's a bit hefty. I should flip in frame, wouldn't that be smart? This feels really good, actually. Wow. Good. It's a really solid construction. It feels very durable. Like, I can imagine this being like a really good beater, a really good daily driver. Nice scimitar-esque blade. Very, very slight. Without a hot spot in weight. Let's see. I wasn't sure how I would feel about like this area down here, but it's actually pretty comfortable. You have a pretty straightforward face milling, and up here it actually feels pretty comfortable throughout the whole like groove, and then a cutout here, and then the circular cutouts here actually also feel pretty comfortable so far. Handles are a little rectangular, but not too crazy. Not like the Medusa. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of heft that you're throwing around. Balls. So, oh yeah, what's the sound like? Pretty solid. So it's a bit hefty, so doing an extended full twirl, one of my favorite tricks, is, you're throwing a bit around, but it feels pretty good still. And it's definitely got a bit of, it does momentum really well. I understand why Will really likes it. This is an objectively good knife. Is it for everyone? I mean, nothing's for everyone, really. But it fans well, and it rolls over really well. It does, let's find, ouchie. Nothing major. How does it twirl? There, how does it ladder? Ladders pretty nicely. And there's a decent amount of jimping that goes pretty high up, so I didn't feel worried about, like, while it is a little bit hefty of a knife, it's not like, I'm not really good at doing infinite ladders. Well, without jimping, it would have fallen out much faster. I will say that. Bum, 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 bum. Ooh, they're hello. Huh. Yeah, the thing is, like, while it's slightly handle bias, it doesn't wobble while it fans, which is really nice. And more than anything, it just feels like it has, like, really good momentum. It's like, I don't know, it's thrown around the heft. Wow, fuck. I had a really smooth palm fan there. That was nice. Huh, wow, this is really nice. And I remember, I think this sits around $600, so not the most insanely priced knife out there. Like, it's not cheap for sure, but it is not like a $1,000 knife. I don't know if Heibel machines his own knives, but Invictus is quite nice. Would I want my own? Maybe. I wouldn't mind having one, but also $600 is a lot of money. That said, though, like if you wanted like a good knife, this knife feels like it can basically do everything. If you love to do like extended fold twirls like me, it's a bit heavy to do that. Like the Telesto felt really hard to do that a lot. Like hold on, let me compare because right now I brought the DMC over because it's so fucking sharp. DMC is a little heavier than I thought. It's 4.2. So the DMC in comparison is a knife that I can do this pretty easily with. Invictus. Wow. It fans better than I thought it would. And while it is heavier, it's still like it's not impossible to do. And a lot of people like heft. It's like a very solid weight. Not too heavy, but definitely has more heft than a lot of other knives. Like a lot of knives have been slimming down and have been starting to get lighter and lighter, closer to 4 ounces, closer to under 4 ounces. The Invictus being like over 4.5 ounces means that it's certainly got a bit of like oomph when you flip it, and that's a really good feeling actually. Right. For more closer inspection, it's got these nice machine lines for the blade. It has tang pins. The tang cups show like a little bit, like this is not my knife, but like the tang cups show a little bit of wear, but nothing too crazy. Oh, also, I didn't even realize this. On the back, there's like this really, let's see if I can show this off. There's a really subtle texture on the back of the handles. It's just kind of nice. I don't know if it really adds grip. Let's see. There it is. I literally thought it was my fingerprint smudging at first. Does it add any texture? Oh, it's so minimal. But whatever that is from, whether it's like the machining process, I'm like running my fingernail against it, which is how I know that there is a little bit of texture. I don't know. It's very subtle. Might be adding just a little bit of grip. Is it actually? Maybe it's a fucking placebo. There's actually some of that on the face as well. So that might just be part of the machining finish. Let's see. There's a little bit of schmutz here in the pivot. Oh, it's like screwed in schmutz. Hilarious. Alrighty. Anyways, Heibel. Oh, I should have brought the Menace over. That's fine. Because the Menace is actually a bit heavier. And this, I believe, is on bushings. The Menace, my knife, is... The Heibel Valor is a knife that I own. And the Heibel Valor is a caged ceramic bearings knife that's like 5 ounces. And it's also a bit hefty, but it doesn't feel super heavy. It's obviously an amount of heavy, but it doesn't feel amazingly heavy. And so, oh, son of a bitch. Ha! I'm mostly fine. Ow. Anyways, Heibel has really done a good job of making knives that are like have like a nice balance of like heft. If you like knives with like more weight but not too much weight, like Alpha Beast is like way too much for a lot of people. I've flipped an Alpha Beast once and I didn't like it, mostly because of the texture, but it was also really heavy. But also some people find that like the Tsunami is like too light, because that's like 4 ounces. So if you like something like in the middle, like the Medusa, I found that like, for me the Medusa, the problem was that I found that the grip was annoying and it was too rectangular. And like, it was definitely handle bias. Like, I would say that it definitely does feel like it has the heft and momentum when you do rollovers. Not like quite as much as the Medusa because it was way more handle bias. But like, this is nice. And it doesn't feel nearly as like, ooh, a tiny bit of a, wasn't that bad of a cut, but like, ouch. The IBAS. The IBAS felt heftier and like had more handle bias to the point where I thought the IBAS was like closer to 5 ounces. It was like 4.6. I was like, wow, this knife feels way heavier than it is. The Telesto, because of how long it is, feels heavier than it is. But this knife is not ridiculously long, nor is it ridiculously chunky. And because the balance is pretty good, despite it being like slightly handle bias, like again, it doesn't feel like it fans. The fans don't wobble. I find that my turbid, the turbid that I was really excited for, the fans wobble a little, which is a little annoying. The aluminum turbid fans perfectly, but this fans really well. And like, let me do the palm fan again. Come on. Yeah, this palm fan's pretty decent. So like, as a neutral enjoyer like me, I don't feel bad flipping this. It feels pretty solid. Like I can do basically anything that I want to do. Like my really basic like fans into extended full twirl. Whoa, that was bad. Let's see. Extended full twirl into a thumb rollover into a helix. That feels pretty good. Solid. Aerials seem pretty good. I'm a little scared to try and do a horizontal aerial since I'm not good at them, but it feels good. I'm impressed. Is this the greatest thing since sliced bread? Like I don't know if it's like, it's not like blowing. It's not like, wow, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, this is a really good knife. The way I'm feeling, my first impressions are, this knife is really nice. And like, I've seen like the full dress version go for like somewhere like 700 to 800. Like that is a really good price for a knife of this quality and like that kind of like extra dressing or whatever. Because like a lot of full dress knives look and cost a lot more. But the Invictus, I remember seeing like an Invictus with like a beautiful laser pattern blade, I think, and like a really beautiful ano on the handles, and that was like only 800 or something like that. And like, that's still a pretty penny, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times you could see a knife like that costing over $1,000. And so like, Will Hirsch's Invictus did not cost that much more than I would assume this one. And this is, you know, standard. Very nice, clean purple anodization. Looks really good. The blade, it's like maybe machined. I don't know. It's like, it doesn't look acid washed as far as I can tell. But it looks very good. It's not like any of the fancy bells and whistles of like a laser thing, but like the fact that like the fancier, prettier versions of this doesn't cost that much more, like that's really nice. So, is this worth like $600? I'd be like, yeah. It's, I mean, again, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I don't know if I'm gonna spring to pay $600 for this knife, but this is a pretty uncontroversially really good flipper that does basically everything without like weirdness. No weight hotspots that feel particularly weird. Neutral flippers will probably still like this. Like, it doesn't feel like it fans really nicely. It rolls over really nicely. As far as I can tell, it aerials nicely. It's got a good sound. It's channel titanium. Tolerances solid. Let me see. Is this T? This might be T8. My one critique. T8 hardware. I'm not gonna try and crank this too hard. The screws. All the screws are pretty. Nothing's really giving me. So there's like a wee bit of play. Nothing crazy. No tap. It's on tang pins. I did a whip rollover cleanly, with, even though it's a Tang pen. Yeah, this knife is really good. So, like, compared to the competition, what's around 600-ish? What the fuck is around 600-ish? Jesus Christ. What the fuck costs that much? Like a Seraph, I guess? Like a Seraph is like maybe 700, 600. I don't even know. I think the Seraph is like relatively comparable in price. And I could see this being a decent like competitor. Like the Seigaiha, they're different. The Seigaiha is much lighter, more rectangular, has a good ring to it. But I think this definitely stands up to the competition really well. And compared to things that are more expensive than it, like, yeah, for sure. This... Oh, and also, like, oh, you know what else is, like, around 600? The fucking DMC that I'm flipping right now. Haystack knives cost about this much. And I think haystack knives are really solid with really good tolerances as long as you can get it factory tuned. And, yeah, like... Invictus is good. Without a doubt. The Invictus is really good. And it's probably safe to say that it's not going to weird out too many people. So, like, I have the Goose, and the Goose is funny. I like the Goose. It's funny. But it's got a weird weight distribution, especially on its blade. I have the OSP Matrix. Fun knife. That one is also really expensive, and I got an insanely good deal for it. And that knife has a really weird weight distribution because most of the weight is in the pivots instead of at the ends. And so, like, weird, interesting collector's items, flippers, like, good flippers still, but, like, weird and, like, kind of odd. But this is, like, a very, very good all-around flipping experience. You can't really modify the weight unless you were to add like weight down here. But like all in all, like I think it's good. I think it's really good. So Heibel Invictus, really solid knife. And I think pretty safe to say that anyone that owns a Heibel Invictus could probably do anything that they want to do on it. And they won't find themselves necessarily struggling too hard with tricks. It'll be really good for most people. And yeah, it's like 4.5 ounce. I almost said pounds. It's like 4.5 ounces, but like that ain't so bad at all. It's a little heavier, so if you prefer your knives really light, you don't like anything that weighs like over 4.3. Like yeah, it's it's a bit heavier, but it's not crazy heavy. It doesn't feel crazy heavy. It just has momentum and carry, and it feels sturdy and durable. And I think this is a really good product. Not something that changed my world and changed my life like it seems to for Will Hirsch, but definitely a very good product. And thanks again for Jet SRD for lending this to me. I hope she really enjoys flipping my Seraph V1. Unfortunately, I've misplaced my medium brass weights, which is really frustrating. But right now I have the zippy weights in it, and there's also the heavier brass weights. So hopefully she'll get some good mileage out of that, because I think the zippy weights are like, it feels like neutral, like like empty, but like better, because it's just a little bit more carry. Anyways, that's enough from me. If you like these videos, check out my channel, subscribe, leave a comment. Do you like the Invictus? I haven't tried the Sapient, and I haven't tried a good Menace. I've only tried the aluminum Menace, which I find incredibly baffling. Leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I don't know. I think this knife is really solid. So anyways, take care. Check out the coffee in my description. A little bit of money goes a long way because it'll help me ship things back. I am not rich. Don't be fooled. I just have a lot of, it's just, it's an expensive hobby. But anyways, take care, everybody, and have a great day.